After rain washed out a game on Saturday, we'll play 2 today here at Lindsey Nelson Stadium in Knoxville on an overcast day. We welcome you into the broadcast booth alongside Rusty Enzer. I'm Michael Wottreng, and Rusty, after Friday, Tennessee feels fortunate to get the win. Alabama on the other side trying to get back on track.
Yeah, a little really fortunate for Tennessee. They got the borderline ball call, as we'll see in the highlights. But really, Michael, I think that the theme today, neither one of these teams made the SEC tournament last year. Wins extremely important for both of these clubs as somebody tries to get a spot in Hoover in May.
Been a good game if you like pitching. 1-0 is the score. Both starters still working for each side, and Jake Walters back out to work for the Crimson Tide. And he'll deal with the top of this Tennessee lineup. Just 6 outs to work with in the first game of this doubleheader. 7-inning affairs. And Ammons will lead things off. He doubled his last time up. One of the 3 hits on the day for Tennessee, and he looks at ball 1. And right now, if you're Tennessee, you need base runners, and you need to somehow find a way to get a runner across the plate.
Well, this is the time for Tennessee, top of the order. And again, third time around they've seen the senior in Jake Walters. But if Ammons could get on, then a lot can happen with Charleston on deck. He handles the bat well, and you can try to get a guy in scoring position several different ways. But it starts with this guy.
And Walters has done Tennessee a favor, falling behind at 3 balls and no strikes. The pitch from the right-hander is high. He misses. 4 straight out of the zone. Ammons is aboard, and the leadoff man opens this frame. Second walk issued now from this right-hander. That should probably get some stirring going in the Alabama bullpen down the left field line. So now it's Jay Charleston, a strikeout and a sacrifice bunt in his first 2 trips.
Got a lot of options. You can sack bunt, which is obviously the standard play. You could bunt and run. You could hit and run. You could try to straight steal with Ammons. He has good speed.
Time was called before the pitch was thrown. Ammons is 4 of 4 in stolen base attempts this year.
Volunteers have 21 on the season, which is 9th best in the league, but still far and away behind the SEC leader. Vanderbilt has 46 stolen bases.
That's aggressiveness on the base pass.
Yeah.
So now a bunt shown by Charleston, and it slides inside on the corner for a strike.
All right, so if Charleston is going to sack bunt, what you want to do, Mike, you want to scoot up in the box. You want to, when you square around, you want that bat at the top of the strike zone and work down. Don't work up. And the reason I say get in the front of the box is that's going to get the bat in more so in fair territory, because you want to bunt it fair territory. And if you're in the back of the box where he is and you try to get it down the line, you got to be too fine.
Walters definitely paying attention to the man at first base, as Alabama does have a left-hander throwing in the bullpen. It is Dylan Duarte. He is throwing down in the bullpen. 0-1 the count. Charleston squaring around. Pitch misses up in the zone. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. The new catcher for Alabama taking over for Malkin, who was pinch run for in the top half of this inning, is Sam Prater. Charleston bunts through it, tried to push it up the first base line, and now it's 1-2. And you talked in the last inning about a young team with Leftridge running the base paths. Maybe he had a chance to run closer to the line. Well, here's something that a young team has to be able to do, is to execute a sacrifice bunt if that's what they're going to try to do here in the late portion of this game.
Michael, that's a great point, and I've said it many, many times in the past, but it's the little things, you know, getting a bunt down, taking an extra 90 feet, being aggressive and smart on the bases. There you go.
Great job by Charleston with 2 strikes. He gets it down and gets Ammons over to second base as the pitcher Walters fields his position and throws out Charleston for the first out of the inning.
That's a little thing that helps your team. Give yourself up, get a pitch to hit. That's a little bit of a slider up in the zone, so it's really not that difficult of a ball to hit. I think he probably wanted that slider a little more down in the zone. That ball's already got a downward trajectory, so you get the bat out front, make contact, let the bat do the work, get the ball on the ground, and now you've helped your ball club with a chance to tie it with the team's best hitter.
So can Lipsius come through? He has struck out swinging both times he's been out there today. He swings at the first pitch and fouls it back. The last time he was up, it was 1-2-3, and he was struck out on 3 straight pitches.
Lipsius has 6 3-hit games already for Tennessee this year. He had a 3-hit game in Game 1 down in Oxford on Friday night. Had 2 hits in Game 1 this past Friday against Bama.
1 strike and nothing with a tying run out at second base.
This is the part of the order on Friday that did all the damage for Tennessee. Hitters 3 through 7 were 10 for 24 against Bama pitchers.
Lipsius floats one out to left center field. Coming on is Bro. It'll bounce in front of him. Ammons turns at third, then stops as the throw comes back to the infield. It's cut off by Henry, and Lipsius will settle for a single to put runners at the corners with 1 out. A late stop sign. Ammons had to make sure that one was going to drop and decided to just stay at third base.
And a pretty good decoy by Bro in center field. The ball's off the end of the bat, and so he's running in like he's going to catch it, and you see Ammons having to hesitate just slightly, and a nice job on the relay as Cody Henry gets over to cut off the baseball to keep Lipsius at first, which is important because that keeps the double play in order for Alabama.
Lipsius has attempted just 1 steal this year, was unsuccessful in that attempt, and now with Santiago coming up, who's walked and struck out in this game. So can Tennessee come through here? 1 out, runners at the corners. Vols trailing by a run here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Pitch misses down and in. It's 1-0.
Tried that back foot slider.
Walters has a season-high 8 strikeouts here in this game.
That may be just to show. I think fastballs on the outside corner would be the play to Santiago. Benito's standing pretty far away from home plate. I think any ball he sees on the inside at least probably is going to be off the plate, or at least targeted to be off the plate. You don't want to miss on the inner half to this guy because he's got the power to pull it to right field. Again, another one out of the zone. He's got him set up. See if he goes fastball low and away again like he did on the 0-1 pitch, or excuse me, the 1-0 pitch.
So Prater will go out to the mound, and this is, we talked about it at the outset, the experience that the right-hander has. Next Saturday, we'll be in Knoxville at Sherry Parker Lee Stadium for the first game of the 3-game series between 2 top 10 teams, number 7 Georgia and number 2 Tennessee. 5 p.m., 4 Central, right here on the SEC Network and streaming live on the ESPN app.
Sherry Parker Lee Field, probably a driver and a pitching wedge for you from here.
Pitch misses down and in, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tennessee trying to tie the score here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Runners at the corners, 1 out. time was called as Walters had thrown. Can't set it up any better if you're Coach Vitello. You get the big portion of the lineup up with a chance to either tie or take the lead. Break even coming from the right-hander. This is low and away. Doesn't really challenge Santiago that much. And the count goes full at 3-2.
Went changeup that time. I like the pitch call. Unable to execute. Let's see what Tennessee does right here. Will they put Lipsius in motion? Now, Santiago strikes out a lot.
He is not running, and Santiago strikes out swinging. Number 9 now for Walters, and it'll take some two-out magic now for Tennessee to tie this one up.
Little slider on the inner half, just handcuffed Benito a little bit. A little late on that too.
So now Brody Leftridge will stand to the plate. Right-hand hitter, number 5-hole batter for Tennessee. Alabama leads 1-0. A throwing error bringing home the lone run of the game. Tennessee had the leadoff man aboard for a third consecutive inning here in the 6th frame. Pitch misses upstairs. It's 1-0.
Yeah, Tennessee certainly has had its chances, but I think you have to credit Jake Walters. He's done a magnificent job. Actually, both pitchers have pitched extremely well today. And they've been able to pitch in and out of trouble when necessary. Tennessee one last chance to try to make something happen.
2-0 the count here to Leftridge. Last week for Walters, he gave up 4 runs in the first, then settled in to retire the next 13. So that experience coming through last week against the Bulldogs, and now here against Tennessee. He's dealt with some traffic over the last couple innings after retiring 8 of the first 9.
Bama able to play even though it's a 1-run lead. Other than today, but the previous 4 games for Alabama, they had given up a crooked number in the first inning, so they were behind the 8 ball from the get-go. Brad Bohannon's club trying to steal one right here from Tennessee in game 2 of this 3-game set.
Walters locates the strike zone to make it 3-1. Drops in there. Count runs full.
Well, front door slider right there. That's a great pitch. Now, Lipsius is going to get a head start. Just 92 pitches on the day for Walters, so he's got plenty of gas to, if he can get out of this one, he'll certainly go to the 7th.
Through 115 last week. Leftridge rolls one third base side. Vance charging, scoops, throws over the first. Low, it bounces and hits the chest of Henry. Scoring from third is Ammons, and we are tied at 1.
Tough play for Vance. A guy that started every game, as you mentioned, Michael, since he has been on campus at Tuscaloosa. Speed puts pressure on the defense. He knows that Brody Leftridge has great speed. And I'll tell you, I want to give credit to Cody Henry on the other end. Even though he couldn't come up with the scoop, but he did a nice job blocking the baseball, didn't try to scoop it one-handed. If that ball gets by him, Tennessee's got runners on second, third. So even though Tennessee tied the game on the throwing error, at least he kept the ball in front. So that's a pretty good defensive play by Cody Henry. Speed for Tennessee pays off.
Yeah, with nobody on, or earlier in the ball game, maybe you do try to extend and scoop it with the one hand and take the gamble. But Henry able to do that. And it looks like Alabama will make a pitching change here.
Yeah, they're going to go with a left-on-left matchup here. Interesting move.
So it'll be Dylan Duarte coming in for Alabama. We are now tied here in Knoxville in the middle game of this series.